So we're just going to give it 2 more minutes before we get started, just to let everyone join. Please allow us 2 minutes and we'll kick off the webcast. So I guess we can start. First of all, good afternoon for everyone, and welcome to today's roundtable. We're lucky to have those panelists with us. I'll make a quick introduction for each one. Today's discussion is going to be the CFO 2030, how finance leaders are shaping the future in Saudi Arabia. Just an intro, as everything else, technology is impacting the accounting and finance. So everything is changing. The skills requirements of CFOs is changing. The role is changing. So really today we want to discuss what is the future, what's the new role of a CFO, how he can be a good leader, a finance leader. We can ask any questions. We're going to leave a room later on to answer any questions. So as we look forward for the Vision 2030, specifically in Saudi Arabia, so the role really of a CFO is no longer about a financial gatekeeper, where we look at numbers, we control the costs, and we report. It's more than that. Now the CFO is really a strategic partner. They're innovators, and they're really change leaders. They're leading a lot of digital transformation, and they're really they're no longer looked at as the people who are crunching the numbers. It's more than that. So just a brief introduction of who is with me today. I'll start by myself. My name is Fadi Ganni. I'm the CEO of Morgan International. I'm a CEO. I've been in the education training field for the last 30 years. I sit on many of the boards of many professional associations and multinational companies, advising on their expansion plans overseas when it comes to the education. I have with me as well Dr. Tamer Alsayed. I'm just going to make the introduction. Dr. Tamer is the CFO of the FII Institute. Mr. Tamer brings over 2 years, decades of experience across various industries like the oil and gas, healthcare, and real estate. He's a CPA, a CMA holder with a doctorate and an MBA in finance. He's also the author of The Art of Becoming a Strategic CFO and a Global 200 Finance Leader. So he has the track record, thinking outside the box, so you can ask him any questions. I've got with me as well Mr. Mohammed Anis Younus. Mr. Younus is a CFO and a board secretary at Fadhili Housing Company. It's a Saudi Aramco Mazik joint venture. He has more than 20 years of finance leadership. He's alumnus of London Business School and holds the ACCA, ICAEW, and his CIA qualification. He has been recognized as CFO of the year and is a frequent speaker on finance transformation. So again, we have somebody here with a certification, with a long experience in the Saudi market. And lastly, we have Mr. Awaiz Patni. Mr. Patni is a group CFO at Bugshan Investment Company. He has 20 years of experience in the region, including a decade at E&Y, so he's got external audit experience. He's a CPA from the US and a chartered accountant both in India and in the UK. You've got it all covered. Awaiz also leads the finance strategy and investment operation across diversified global portfolios. So if you can see the panelists here we have today, they come from a different background. Some of them, they're all finalists, but worked in different industries, healthcare, external auditing, investment, nonprofit organizations. So, and with a very certification and background. The whole idea is to give you different perspectives. And what you will find out is that at the end of the day, what's happening for the future or the skills of the future or the transitions, it is across all industries. It's not specific to a particular industry. So having made the introduction, I'd like to start addressing some of the questions. The way we're going to go about it is I'm going to be addressing certain questions, and you'll hear the feedback from the panelists. And we're going to leave a room towards the end for you to ask any questions, so any of us can address those questions. I'll start with you, Dr. Tamer. My first question to you is, how the CFO role evolved in the past 5 years? I know everything is changing. In your view, how is the role have changed, and what's next? What are we expecting? Where are we going? I'd like to hear your comments on that.
Okay, you're starting with the toughest question, Fadi. First of all, thank you for having me. Honored to be here among these, I would like to call friends before colleagues, Awaiz and Muhammad Anis. Thank you. How has the CFO role evolved in the past 5 years, and what's next? If you are being honest, 5 years ago, the CFO role was mostly about keeping the books clean, watching the cost, managing risk, avoiding risk. And for most companies, it worked just fine. Nobody was complaining. No one was saying anything against the CFOs 5 years ago. But that's not enough anymore. Today, the CEO is not looking for a scorekeeper, because we report to the CEOs and the board. So the CEO is our main goal. He is looking for a partner rather than a scorekeeper. He's looking for someone who understands the numbers, but also the business. Someone who can challenge ideas, ask the right questions, and even though he can help to shape and direct where the company is going and moving forward. That means we, as CFOs, need to bring clarity to the table. Clarity, not complexity. We need to bring not more report, but more confidence in our numbers, and to make it clear in a direction. And not only about what happened last quarter, last year, 3 years ago, but about what needs to happen next quarter, next year, next 3 to 5 years. And even you can scan the market, the local and global market, and find out and expect what's coming up. And we cannot do that if we are buried in the day-to-day operation. You need a solid team along with you that can run the engine, so you can step back, look at the big picture, and think ahead. One more thing, Fadi, and this is where many CFOs fail, and I believe Awais and Muhammad can agree with me. If you don't understand the product, the customer, and the business model, you're done. You're out of the loop. You're out of the picture. No one will consult you. No one will ask for your advice. The numbers on their own don't mean much. Context is everything. So what's next for the CFO? It's not about control anymore. No. It's not about control anymore. It's about value. What value do you bring? Will be measured by the impact we create. Okay, not the reports we file or present. And in my perspective, that's where the role is heading. We need to bring strategy. We need to bring impact and value. Thank you, Fadi.
Thank you, Dr. Tamer. Yes, I agree with what you've said, and it goes further beyond. What's interesting is that if we look at large corporates, always the CFO were, or the finance department, or the accounting, call it, they were like the gatekeepers. They were the hated, the one who always look at the cost. With the perspective, what you're saying, Dr. Tamer, is that when you say about value creation, it means you're really a business partner. and you are a support for everyone. So the vision of the CFO as well, I believe, is changing. And we'll talk later about the skills when we come into it. So the trend is really, it's about they can create any role they want as long as they bring a value and advice to the company based on certain scientific data that they will create. So this is a major shift in the view of the role of the CFO, which is very, very interesting. I'm gonna move to you, Muhammad. Continuing with the same mindset, I want to talk about your personal, really your experience. In your view, what is the mindset or the leadership shift that is very most critical that you went through in your own transition, moving from, like Dr. Tamer mentioned, from being a technical finance person into strategic leadership? What did you have to go through? What is the mindset? What are the critical elements you need to look at?
Thank you very much, Fadi, for the question. And first of all, thank you very much for the invitation for this wonderful webinar with both of my friend, Dr. Tamer and Awaiz. To answer this question, yeah, as Tamer has rightly mentioned, that this is what we are like we grown up like the way when we started our career 20 years ago. Our mindset was very clear that I have a qualification, ACCA, CPA, whatever. I should be a technical effort. I should know IFRS by heart. I should know auditing standard by heart. And if I'm the champion of IFRS and auditing standard, I will keep on growing in my career. So I started my career with EY, where it's all about audits. I was in external audits. So this is what, like, if you are a champion of IFRS, you're in the top league. And it's keep on continuing at that time for that industry. Yes, up to some extent, those things are true. But the moment you move from I moved from my career from an external auditor to a finance person, and back 10 years ago, and there my mentality was simple. Yeah, okay, I have to do book close on a timely basis. I'll do the audit with no qualification, biggest win. I'll submit my tax and zakat return on time, no penalty. Yes, I'll make sure all my reportings are on time. My monthly reports are closed on time. I deliver within 10 days to the board and the shareholders. And I always think, yeah, perfect. I'm the superstar of this industry. There come the real challenge when I look at my CFO, and he was doing something else. He was never bothered that whether I complete the reporting on time. Yes, part of my KPI, yes, but he was never that was not his KPI. It was my KPI as a manager to complete the reporting on time. Audit is done without qualifications. Zakat submit on time. No question asked. Everything is perfect. All numbers are okay. But when you look at the CFO, he was doing something else. What he was doing, he was working with the CEO to run the business. As Dr. Damin has mentioned that we as a finance managers or finance, we report in the past what happened last quarter, last year, last month. But they were look ahead. What is our short term 6 month? What is a medium term 1 year to 2 years? And what is our long term? So this is where then I start thinking that, okay, yes, I think I become a champion of all the reportings. I will never miss the deadline. But what else I have to do to grow up to the ladder? And then I started looking at my CFO and anything he was doing on the business. The first thing I did, I started learning what this business is. I was in King Abdullah Port in the shipping business plus construction. I said, I need to learn that, what these things are. This is the only way I can add value. Without knowing the business, you cannot add value. What value you will add? If CEO will come and ask me, okay, what we can do to improve our top line. If I don't know the business, how I will guide him? How I will tell him that this is the way, this is a possible way we can increase our top line. We can improve our bottom lines. So this is where the mindset, what Dr. Tamil also mentioned before, that from reporting to shaping the future, that how I can work with the CEO to shape the future. And just to conclude on that, it just happened that yesterday I was reading something and I got a very good line, which I even wrote it down with me, that I will try to tell this in the webinar. They mentioned that you should change your mindset for how do we account for this No, whenever something comes to us, we say, okay, how are we going to account for this? No, we have to shift from there to what problem are we solving? So this is a mindset shift is important if you want to grow and to be a CFO. Thank you. Thank you, Fadi.
Interesting, Muhammad. Yes, I work with a lot of CFOs, and I can attest to whenever we meet and we have a discussion, it's never about numbers. It's always about the business, the future, and it's really managing the business. So what you're telling me is to understand the business, the customers, and the idea of shifting from reports. And now with the technology, reports is not an issue. You enter the data and the reports, even the analytics can come. It's how you look at those numbers and how you manage the business, given your financial background, and how you can support the CEO in running the business. So you're talking about totally different set of skills now. You spoke about what went into your mindset, but to manage a business and support and bringing value, you're talking different level of set skills. We're talking here about communication skills, negotiation. You have the growth mindset. You have the relationship with the various departments. So here we're addressing a totally different ball game, which really, if I want to simplify it now, if I want to hire a CFO, I'm not going to look at someone that who are good in numbers. This is the last of my concern. This is what both of you are telling me. If I want to hire a good CFO, I need to look at other set of skills or a character that can run a business and can manage various different, create relationships within the organization to bring a value. So having someone with a good track record in numbers and reports, it doesn't mean that you're a good CFO. You can be a good accountant or a good finance. I don't know what it is, but you're not a CFO material. So yes, I concur with what you're saying. I'm gonna go to you, Awaiz, here. I want to talk more specifically about in Saudi Arabia, and really understand how are the CFOs adapting to Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia priorities in terms of priorities, and where does finance people or the finance play the biggest role when it comes to national transformation and the Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia? What's your intake on this?
Thank you, Fadi, for having me here, and it's a pleasure to be in the company of Anis and Dr. Tamer. So look, before I answer your specific question, I think I would just like to add that one of the things that I have learned when I made my transition from being an accountant at EY to becoming a finance director and a CFO is, I realized that we are, as finance managers or as CFOs, no longer in the back office. We are front of house, right? We are in the boardroom, holding hands with the CEO, shaping strategy, guiding the CEO, and answering the board on not only the past, but also where the future is. So I think that transition is very important for all finance professionals to understand that they are no longer in the back office, right? We are in front of house, we are facing customers, we are facing suppliers, and we are facing stakeholders, whether it's board members, the CEO, or shareholders even. Having said that, I think that is very important as we look at Vision 2030, right? So Vision 2030, when it came out 3-4 years ago, again, it was a forward-looking vision. It was where the country wanted to end up in 12 to 15 years, right? So it was not short-term, it was a very long-term plan, again, broken down into, short-term objectives, short-term goals, but ultimately it was a forward-looking document. And as CFOs, I think companies with forward-looking CFOs embraced Vision 2030, and it completely reshaped how companies think about growth, innovation, and impact. So we moved again, going linking to what Dr. Tamer and Anis said, we moved away from just cost control and reporting to helping companies and shareholders as well as the government evaluate investment in new sectors, assess partnerships, and aligned themselves. So you have, clear, great examples of a completely new sector opening up in Saudi Arabia, tourism, right? Which was, I mean, we only had religious tourism. There was never a concept of, tourism in Saudi Arabia. No one ever imagined that tourists would fly into Riyadh or, into Jeddah for Formula One, right? And then, so CFOs basically helped drive this. Those companies who had forward-looking CFOs were actually able to drive these partnerships, drive investment into these new sectors. Capital discipline again is very, very important, right? So as CFOs, I think it's very important that in a high growth economy like Saudi Arabia, not every project can be funded. So capital discipline and where CFOs step in to evaluate, assess, and see which return on investment will make the highest impact, not just financially, but from other objectives as well. That is very important because a lot of investment that is being done today in Saudi Arabia, the returns are not immediate. The returns are not in financial terms cannot be measured, right? Signing Ronaldo, for example, a lot of people, question me and ask me to share my views on what was the benefit of Al Nassr club signing Ronaldo for such an exorbitant sum. They don't realize that the return of signing Ronaldo is not just financial. It's much more beyond financial. There is a lot of intangible wealth or intangible value that was generated by signing Ronaldo. Who would have ever imagined? I mean, I was in London a couple of weeks ago and I saw people wearing the Al Nassr t-shirt with Ronaldo's name on the back, walking on the streets of London. Who would have ever imagined that a local club in Saudi Arabia would be so famous that people would be wearing that t-shirt and walking on the streets of London? That cannot be measured. So I think, again, as CFOs, capital discipline is very important. And one of the last things that I would want to add in this is governance and transparency, right? In the last 4 or 5 years, how many companies have gone public, right? There has been a wave of public listing in Saudi Arabia. Who is driving all this? Again, it's CFOs who are driving this. And when companies go public, there is a lot of emphasis on governance, on transparency, on ensuring that reporting happens on time. Again, CFOs play a key role. As I tell people that when CFOs today are actually driving a car, where we have to look forward, but we also have to look backwards. We cannot miss seeing the rear view mirror. We have to look forward and go forward, and we take the whole company with us forward, but our eyes are also looking at the rear view mirror and ensuring that reporting is happening accurately and on time.
Okay. Interesting. Yes. So if I want to just recap what you just said, Awaiz, is that really the CFOs, when it comes to the role they play with the vision 2030 priorities, is that one is attracting foreign investment. This is what you're telling me. You spoke about governance and transparent financial systems in place to attract foreign investors to come in. Diversification of the market, not only counting on one specific revenue, which you hinted to Al Nassr and the value they bring. Very, very interesting, because if you look at it, it's really people would think things are happening naturally. Okay, we have the Vision 2030 and Saudi is booming, but the behind the scenes, what's happening, and the role of finance people in this, and how they gear organizations toward growth, diversification, looking at opportunities, value added, is very interesting how it is linked. Funny enough, just talking about this, I was looking at the World Economic Forum, the skills of the CFOs of the future and everything. And everybody of you is talking about future, reading the future and everything. understanding the business, where Tamer hinted, if you don't understand the business, whoever you are, you're dead, you know? It's very interesting. The number one characteristics now organizations they look at when they're hiring CFOs and everything is research and being enthusiastic to learn. So it's kind of, it aligns what we're saying, is that we want people who are, if there's a trend going on, latest, they do their research homework, understand what are the trends, what's going on, and they're able to adapt the latest requirements the markets are requiring. And having said that, they were talking about how the recruitment or I want to say is that the hiring process of finance people or leaders is changing. Again, we used to look at technical accounting skills. Everybody is focused about technical accounting skills, their experience and everything. And now the technical accounting skills is no longer going to get you the CFO job. They're looking at other type of skills, technology skills, agility, thinking outside the box. So it's all aligned with everyone, what you guys are saying. Dr. Tamer, I'm going to go back to you. And my next question would be, in your own view, in what ways can a finance lead those transformations we're talking about, and not just support it, especially now in today's in the technology? If you don't adapt to technology, you know, digital transformation, in your view, is the finance involved in all those transformation, or they only support it? What's your intake on this? I think Tamer has a connection. Dr. Tamer, can you hear us?
Well, let me hear.
We can't hear you, Dr. Tamer. I think there's something in the connection.
I'm back. Good. Can you hear me? Good.
No.
I can see all of you moving and talking.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So you were saying how finance can lead transformation, and not only the digital transformation aspect of our business, not only the finance, not only our part, not only our role, not only our division, no, but it touches procurement, sales, marketing, finance, supporting divisions, and strategy as well. And if we really want to lead transformation, not just to support it, we need to be in room from the first time it is negotiated, from the start, when ideas are still raw, when nothing is locked in yet, nothing signed yet. And that's when our questions matter the most, not just how much will this project cost us, but what are we really trying to build up here? Is it worth it? What is the value? What is the trade-off? What is ROI? And if finance keeps showing up late to the conversation, we will always be stuck cleaning up the mess after, not before. And in a lot of companies, finance is still treated like the final step. We will plan first, and then we go back to finance to check the numbers, verify, and sign off and pay. That's not, for me, that's not leadership. That's a damage control, because we come at the end, we step at the end, and we save. Yani at the end, we are the hero of the story at some times, but it shouldn't be. We should be the producer. If it's a movie, we should be the producer. We plan everything from the beginning. And here is the thing. We have a blend of experiences, Fadi. We have a stake at legal, we have a stake at finance, we have a stake at compliance, HR. We know it all in and out. And finance in a unique spot. We see the whole business across functions, across time, across risks. We can look at the past and estimate the future. And that gives me, as a CFO, an edge. I have an edge over HR, over other division, if we use it really right. Okay, we lead when we stop hiding behind spreadsheets and start making things clear. What's the cost? What is the impact? Again, impact and value, impact and value. What is the risk if we wait? We bring, again, mindset, we bring structure, but we also push for movement. We don't act like a roadblocks. No, we support and we push for the movement, and we lead better when we keep things simple. Don't talk Chinese to the people. Keep it simple, simplify it. When we turn big, messy ideas into real options, actions, value point, when we help others move forward, not freeze and analysis. Because sometimes when you handed over a project, you stuck, you had an issue, you do a lot of analysis, and at the end you don't make any decisions. Because sometimes, and you guys know that too much analysis may kill idea.
Over
And
engineering.
doesn't need another 50 spreadsheets or another 50 beautiful slide deck. It is forward, here's what it will take, and here is where it may go wrong. Or the of finance leads, or we just left behind. We should step up and start from day one. Thank you, Fadi.
Thank you, Dr. Tamer. Interesting. So what you're saying is that you need to make things simple. You need to speak the language of other leaders within the organization. And the most important part, which you mentioned, is we're not a blockers, because finance people traditionally is the blocking point. You know, if finance approved, the project will go through. And the finance people now, they have to look at things from a different perspective. I face it in my organization when we get on the sales calls, okay, over pricing, and we have the CFO with us, and sales people don't like it. They look at it, he's going to be the blocker. Instead of, there's a reason why the CFO is there, because he sees it from all aspects within the organization. And the word that always we hear it from the sales people is that we want this company to be commercially run and not financially run. So there's always this perspective: is it a financially managed company or commercially managed company? So Dr. Tamer, you went through it quickly, you mentioned it, but this is something like a bombshell within the organization. It's very interesting. So what you are saying is that they should lead, they should start from the beginning of the projects, and they lead and they support. They have to do both, and by identifying the opportunities, you know, the resource allocations and managing the progress. So they have to look at it from all aspects. Very interesting. Muhammad, I'm going to get back to you now. We're talking about now AI, technology, literally systems working. In your view now, what are the digital skills required for finance professionals? Do they need to know about technology, one, or not? It's very important. And what are skills that they need to build on when it comes to technology, in your view? Is it an important part now of the role of the finance leaders, in your view? Is it embedded within technology now? The role comes with technology literacy. What's your point of view on this?
Thank you, Fadi, for the question. See, definitely now, this digital skills are very important. You hear the news of day for yesterday, where Saudi government has launched Human. Now, what is Human? It's all about human AI. And if you read what they're saying end of limits. Their tagline is end of limits. So why at the country level, they are embracing just they're launching it at a big scale. And we saw yesterday also, they have a partnership with NVIDIA to supply the AI chips. So entire world is going toward technology and AI. So if finance has to lead the companies, they have to. There is no choice left. Yes, we like finance is I think only function who are using technology. Like we used to have ERPs. Like we always using the ERP for a long time, like long time we are using it. And rest other departments, usually sales team, and they don't have those kind of softwares or those kind of technologies available with them. So finance is always there to leverage the technology to be more efficient. But now the way things are moving, now there was a time there was some limited software was available where we are getting our entries done ERPs in the form of ERPs. Now there's a time we're talking to this machine itself. Chat GTP, we're talking to the machine itself. Either you type it or even you talk to the machine even. So the two-way things are coming in there. So if we and these applications are helping a lot of things, as we now mentioned that we need to move forward because we have seen the also the lot of the reports coming in, these kind of jobs will be redundant, like accountant or cashier or those things, because AI is available, bots are available to take care of that. So if these jobs are going, and if I'm an accountant doing a basic thing, what I will do. So the people used to ask me that the AI is coming, they will take my job. I said the only answer I can give you right now is two things. One is AI will not take your job, but the person with the skill of AI will take your job. This is one thing. Second thing, if you check the research, the World Economic Forum, and they keep on doing a lot of research on that. With this AI movement which is there, they have expected that, yes, there is a job loss will be there, but the job gain will be there. So the net gain on the jobs. This means that number of jobs will increase and not decrease. Yes, the skills sets required will be different. You'll not be an accountant. You should be a Power BI expert. You can be an KPI dashboard master on that. You know how to
Data
do prediction.
analytics.
Data analytics is there. You know how to do scenario modeling. How your model should be so robust that you can I give scenarios and you can just build it. You should have a dynamic reporting. Those times are gone that okay, we show to the CEO, no, I want to change this. Okay, I'll come back after 1 week. No, your softwares, you should have a softwares or you should have all skills available to have a dynamic dashboard. You just keep on changing it and numbers and everything move. And the most important thing, which also Dr. Tamer also touched on, is to be a finance business partner, because that is very, very important, which is nowadays is very missing. And with the technology, you can always help them, because you can just ask the team, okay, this is a software. Okay, now bring me the report tomorrow, like other departments. No, we should be going and helping them say, this is how you use the software, and let me help you in achieving your targets with the help of the softwares and with the help of technology. And the last and the most important thing is having all these AI tools look very good. It's wonderful to have, but where we are lacking is still right now is cybersecurity. If you're bringing software from here and there, combine all together, you never know which software is weak in cybersecurity. So end of the day, that is also, we need to take care of that. So it's all combined. If you want to bring AI, you have to take care of cybersecurity also. It's very, very important. And this is the skill which is required. Now, there is no, okay, we'll see after 10 years. No, you have to do it now. Thank you, Dr. Fadi.
Interesting. It's very interesting, Hamad. I'll tell you one thing. I was looking at the IMA report as well. There has been a study. It's jointly and KPMG have done it. What they were saying, what keeps CFOs up at night where they don't sleep is exactly what you mentioned, because they need to lead their digital transformation, and they know if they don't lead it, the company will not be able to compete. You know, it's a must. And yet, how are they gonna lead it, and how, because they're gonna be integrated with all the different business units, like you just mentioned. So you're leading it not from the finance perspective, but on an organizational level, and you need the people to adapt to it, and they have to change their skills and their jobs when those systems come into place. So yet you have to do it in a proper, safe measures. So this is really challenges now for finance leaders, but there's no way out of it. You really need to gain that knowledge. And the proof of that is the US CPA exam now. They called it the last year in 2024, when they launched the exam, they called it it was an innovative exam, where now technology is being tested on every part of the exam. and they've added parts like information systems and control, business analytics and reporting. Those were never heard of. So they went ahead because that's based on surveys of what the corporates and CFOs are looking for. But it's very interesting, and definitely cybersecurity is a major problem, continues to be a major problem. One of the reasons is that even people are logging into the systems in place remotely. So people go on Zoom, they on a conference, or they log into the accounting softwares or whatever tools remotely, and those could be hacked as well. So the risk is huge. And how to manage all of this, it's very interesting times. Yesterday, in particular, I don't know if you've seen it, there was an author in the technology. He was saying that how the banks, he no longer deal with one bank. He puts his personal money distributed across several banks because he thinks that AI now will create cyber attacks on financial institutions. So all those cyber attacks that we used to think is made by human being softwares, now AI, it's gonna be, AI can be used in a good way and it could be used in a negative way as well. Interesting. Awaiz, I'm going to go back to you now. We spoke about the technology, the skills required, the values. The question that comes in, and we've hinted to it, is that the role of the CFO as well is to collaborate across various departments. It's no longer a CFO, you're part of the leadership, you're part of the management. You're not only restricted managing your finance people. So they have a bigger role to play. So how do you think they can strengthen those collaboration across various departments to drive those changes and growth and everything? Because I know if CFOs cannot collaborate with the various departments and doesn't have the skills to do that, they're not going to be successful. In your view, what do you think the role that they have to play in that?
So look, I think Dr. Tamer alluded to something, when he said we can't be late to the party, right? So we have to show up right at the beginning. In fact, we have to be the value architects, right? So we are the ones who actually should be the people who set the pace, set the value that we want. And we should not be seen as just the budget police, right? Because if we are only seen as the budget police, we will never be invited to these strategic conversations. So I think for us, when I look at my own organization and I see how we've kind of implemented sectoral collaboration to actually drive organizational change, I think what we did was we embedded finance business partners across departments. So we have finance business partners across operations, sales, and supply chain. And these are people who speak both finance language and business language. And then, the reception becomes much more amiable. And the collaboration kind of really steps up. And that is...
And probably the trust as well.
Exactly. And of course, the trust as well. So by doing this, finance and operations, or finance and sales, or finance and supply chain started to speak the same language. And we could see common grounds and again, work towards a common objective. And I think that really helped. One other thing that helped was implementing shared scorecards. So when we have different functions on the same KPIs, then the conversations started to shift from blame to solutions, right? Because KPIs were shared, similar KPIs across different functions, and all of those KPIs aligned with the ultimate vision and mission of the company. Then people, instead of blaming other departments or instead of blaming a particular person, the conversation started to shift towards solutions. How can we as a group collectively achieve this common KPI for the betterment of the company? So I think that was really what we that helped us. And then, of course, reporting was very important, because if you don't, report, how do you, monitor, how do you measure? So I think investing in real-time dashboards with access across functions. So we had a single source of truth for finance, marketing, operations, so that when everyone, sees the same numbers, then people start to align, and again, working towards a common goal, common objective becomes very clear.
Interesting. Yeah. It's and it's you gain the trust, and there's more accountability across. So instead of saying this is your job, or this is you screwed up over here, or this, it's now like we're one team.
Yes.
We speak the same language, and we're gonna work together to make it happen. Very interesting. Who would have thought this is will be, like you mentioned, you have this finance team within the operation, within the supply chain, logistics. It's very interesting. Okay, I want to move into a general question. Whoever wants to comment on it is. We're talking now future-ready organization and future-ready finance people, and we know now. You all hinted on it. The skills requirements is different. You're no longer looking at the past, you're looking at the future. So this requires a lot of training, rethinking how we hire our strategy, how we train our people, because a lot of CFOs now, they need to be training on technology, for example, understanding AI, machine learning, what are different. We're not saying they're going to be the technical, but they need to have a general guidance and understanding what we mean by AI and how can it be used in finance, to drive growth and everything. So in your view is that, what does a future-ready finance team look like, in your view? And how we need to rethink our hiring, training, and retention strategies now, given with all those changes happening. Whoever wants to comment on this, yes, go ahead, Dr. Tamer.
I love this question, Fadi, and allow me, please, Muhammad and Awaiz, to take it. Why? Because I have seen plenty of good talent gets wasted, literally wasted. If you want a team that's ready for the future, stop hiring by the book. Don't look at the CV at all. For me at least, by the way. And whoever knows me and did an interview with me as a candidate for in my division knows how I conduct interviews. It is very simple, very friendly, in like a fireside chat, and I squeeze a joke or two, by the way, just to simplify and break the ice. I don't mean that we ignore qualification. Don't get me wrong. I don't ignore qualification, but we need to look deeper the human aspect. Use system, Excel, reporting. What harder to teach is how they think, how they read you, how they collaborate with their team, with other division. Can they simplify a complex issue? Can they spot the red flags? Can they even correct me if I'm mistaken? Can they explain a business risk clearly and call me? Can they jump in and support me if I lost words in a meeting? That's what I'm looking for. I need always when I hire someone, I look at my successor, not only part of my team. Each and every one of my team should be able to replace me one day. I want people who can ask questions, who stay curious, who don't panic when we have an issue. We need to stay overnight. We need to work in the weekend. And again, I can let you work remotely. That's completely fine. We have a pressure, we do it. When we don't have, you can go home. I don't need to see you. And training is changing too. It's not just technical anymore. It's business acumen. Again, if you don't know the business, the product, the client. So it's not only the CFO, no, your team. Strategic thinking, it's your part to teach that to your team. Share what you have in mind and look forward to receive their questions if they have any, or even question marks. Okay, that's what makes someone is valuable. Not just what they know, but how they think, how they, let's say, simplify complicated issues, show initiative, and how they act when things get messy. That's it from my side. Thank
Yeah,
you, Fadi.
thank you, Tamer. Very interesting. Yeah, I get to agree fully with you, fully 100%, is that you're hiring a character. And you mentioned something about curiosity. It was ranked by the study is that curiosity is a very important skill, because if you have somebody curious, it means somebody is adaptive, they want to learn, they want to advance, they want to think outside the box. If you don't have somebody curious, they're going to go by the book. This is not the type of person you want them on your team. So you're really hiring a character at this point. It's not about technical expertise. You can train the people on the technical aspects. You know, if they're curious, they can learn. So you're looking at a character mainly, and somebody who is adaptive, who thinks outside the box, who can step in, who can support you whenever needed, who's willing to work over hours when needed, go home whenever he's not needed. So this is not easy to find, by the way. This is the most
Fadi, you
difficult
mentioned the
part to
number.
recruit.
Yeah, you mentioned the number one skill, by
Curiosity.
the way, is what? Research, which comes from
Yeah.
curiosity.
Yes. Yeah. So now
Yeah.
I'm gonna, because we're coming close, I want to leave a room if we have some questions. Actually, we've got a question from Ahmed Khalati. Ahmed is an ex-colleague, and he's in the finance from the IMA.
Ahmed is
He
here.
has two.
Hi,
Yes,
Ahmed.
Ahmed
Thank you,
is
Fadi.
here.
Sorry, he's a close friend of
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. So Ahmed is looking at, he has two questions. I know he lives it every day. How to become a CFO? That's one question. The second question is, what is the most critical challenges CFO faces today? I'm going to put my comments and let everyone. I think how to become a CFO, it's basically, you have to have the education, of course, and you have to have the character for it and the experience. So, and when I say education, you have to have a certification. CMA is one of those certifications that leads you to that, or CPA. Challenges are a lot. We spoke about the challenges from technology to rethinking how we hire the people, to they mentioned about looking forward, having business documents. So there's a lot of challenges, but a lot of rewards in my view. Technology is a major, and digital transformation is a major challenge for CFOs nowadays. To become a CFO, you have to really lead in digital transformation. I don't know if Dr. Tamer, Ahmed, Muhammad, you want to contribute to this question?
Yeah, I think,
Uh,
sorry,
Awaiz can jump and la, you can take it. It's fine, completely. We all can take it. Please go ahead.
yeah, I think the most critical challenge for a CFO today is, balancing strategic strategic agility with financial discipline. So I think, the fact that we have to, currently there are so many, I mean, there is so much of uncertainty in the market, geopolitical tensions, supply chain shocks, and of course, technological disruption, right? So given all of this, stakeholders, shareholders, board members, they want a lot of fast moves, right? So they want the companies to be agile, to be innovative, but at the same time, there has to be a sense of stability, risk management, and cash preservation. So I think the challenge between running on all four cylinders, but at the same time willing to break at the right time and to take a step back and see what is actually working, what is not working. I think this balance, which of course comes with a lot of emotional intelligence. So, when you think of, as a CFO, what are the skills you want? I think one of the biggest, skill, or one of the biggest things that I look when I want to hire someone is emotional intelligence. So I think that is the biggest or the most critical challenge I see for today for a CFO.
Yeah, and this is a very important point. because as I was as well, as AI becomes more and more, we need more leaders with emotional intelligence. We need more technology, but we need more emotional intelligence nowadays. Yeah, go ahead, Tamer, Muhammad. Any comments you want to add to this?
Just to add to that, no, there's the, like, as always also mentioned, is yes, it is very important that, like, we need to have people like which have a tendency to learn. Continuous learning is very important because the way technology are changing every day, something new is there. And if the person is okay, what I'm doing it, I don't want to learn more, then that cannot be a team player for the entire organization, and it can stop a lot of innovations or a lot of work we want to do. Now for the CFO, as again rightly mentioned, that for CFO, biggest challenge is this technology which is coming in. And like now there are a lot of hundreds of softwares are available, a lot of companies are available providing solution. Now which one I will take, which one is beneficial for me? Now I have a same issue also when I was building this setup and everything. What I said, now the 100 softwares available, okay, good to know. Now the way our structure is, I ask only two things. I need two things. The most important thing I will need in a software is one, that it should meet, like, based on the size of my organization, it meet my requirements. Second, and sorry, three things actually. Second thing, it should integrate with my existing ERP. I don't want a silo software which will working separately and this separate working separately. Third thing, cybersecurity. That, because if it's coming to my main ERP, that system, a third party system should be secure enough that I can integrate and to not have impact on my cybersecurity or on my main system. So this is one of the challenge, like if you're selecting a software, and you can apply in any ways you're looking for, selecting people, doing for a business, doing anything you want to do. So this is how you to see each and everything. This is the way I think also.
Interesting, yeah. Tamer, do you want to add anything?
I wanna rephrase the question. It's not how to
Yes.
become a CFO. Let's assume you have the technicality, the experience, and you have the role. How to be a good CFO. I'm sorry, Ahmed Bikhallati, you are a close friend of mine, but let's say you can become a CFO, but how to become a good CFO in your position? For me, it's the role of 5, and I have said it during my answers. Clarity, insights, delegation, business oriented, and products, your ecosystem. If you bring clarity over complexity, if you can delegate to your team and get focused on the strategic aspect of any company, if you turn insights into action in a very simple way, not in a Chinese way, if you can see beyond the cost, don't get the cost stop you in the way, okay? And if you understand the business model, the ecosystem, the customer, you're good, and you are very good at it. Not every CFO can manage those 5 skills. By the way, it's hard, but you get trained to it. Take it step by step. So it's not how to become a CFO. You can become or you cannot. It's fine. If you got the chance, you get the interview, then voila, you are a CFO. But how to stay in the position? How to become a good CFO? Thank you.
Anybody can be a CFO. You have to be a good CFO.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have another question here. Is the question says, how can I shift my team members' mindset from being accountants to being partners and CFOs in the future? So the question here from Ihab is saying, how can they shift the mindset? This is very difficult to do. Of people from really looking only at numbers to start thinking outside the numbers and giving. I think in my view is you have to do training for those people regularly. One. Second, you need to lead by example, I think as well, and you need to provide the platform there. If they do mistakes, they're not penalized. I mean, you have to put the environment to let them do mistakes. This is my point of view, but I'll let the others comment on that as well.
Like we create an environment of experiment. Let them do
Yes.
experiment. Let them fall down. They will pick up themselves. I think the important thing is a mindset of learning, continuous learning. If the
Yeah.
person has a mindset of continuous learning, that's the only way they can shift. Otherwise, they will remain what they are. That's the reality.
I always tell my team members, that today, if you want to be a successful finance professional, you need Excel and you need empathy. So you need to empathize with the sales function. You need to empathize with the marketing function. You need to empathize with the supply chain, and you need to really step into their shoes and see what are their challenges, what are their problems, instead of just pointing blame or pointing the finger at them. Empathize with them and give them solutions. Let them look at you like a finance business partner, and let them actually see that you are interested in their benefit and giving them solutions. Only then you will be a successful and a good finance business professional.
Dr. Tamer, any comments from your side? You wanna add?
Absolutely. I will share what I usually do with my team. Okay, I let them challenge me. I gave them the freedom to challenge me. I gave them the freedom to question my actions. That's the level of people that you build trust and loyalty in. When you allow them the freedom without punishment to question your actions, to discuss, challenge you, you are like, I'm 25 years of experience. And they are what, 7, 8 years of experience, maybe 10, 12. That's when maybe one day, they will feel confident that I'm discussing with my CFO. And by the way, you talked about training, Fadi. You talked about training, Awaiz and Muhammad as well. I believe in training, but you are their direct coach. You are their trainer day after day after day. So every action, every call, every report, if you have the time, share it with them. Discuss. Whenever I prepare for a board meeting every quarter, what I do once I prepare my presentation and it's ready to be shared for the dry run meeting, what I usually do, and honestly, I swear to God, I literally do this. I call the team, the whole team, and we sit in a meeting. Guys, I made this presentation for the board. Take a look at it and try to find a mistake or an error in my presentation. That's a practice, that's an exercise, that's a workshop. And they really, really dive deeper to find a mistake on me. And sometimes they did. So I shared my strategy, the way I present, the way I think. And they had a vision of where are we going and how I share my ideas and insights with the board. That's the level of people we need as a successor. Because one day you will step out.
It's very interesting what you were saying. I'll tell you why it's very interesting. I receive a lot of questions. I've got a job in this company. Should I go for it or not? I always tell the team members, when you want to work, you don't look at which company you're working for. Look who you're going to be working with. It is your manager. You learn.
Exactly.
If you have,
Perfect.
there's no bad team member. There's a bad manager. It's the manager who, I always tell the team members, if you have a bad apple in the team, it's because the manager does not know how to manage them.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. Yes. Well, I think we're 5 minutes over time. I know you guys are very busy. First of all, I want to thank all of you. It's really nice of you to hear it from different perspectives. If I want to conclude on something that all of us we agree to, is that the CFO role is becoming increasingly important in driving strategic direction, resilience, and long-term value, to drive long-term value. This is what I understood from you indirectly. whatever you mentioned details, this is what you're aiming at. I leave it up to you if you want to add anything, you want to give any last minute thought, advice, go ahead, please.
I'll give my key takeaway in a quick nutshell. Be curious, stay curious, and question everything. That's it. Thank you, Fadi.
Thank you, Muhammad. Any question, Awaiz?
I think for me, I believe that like adding to that is learning. Continuous learning is also very important. That habit should be there if you want to grow.
Yeah. I think my closing statement would be that for any company and or for any function, and especially the finance function, right? Our greatest asset is not sitting on our balance sheet, but is sitting in the finance function in the minds of people. That is the greatest asset we have.
Yeah, I fully agree. And as I said, as we move on, things are going to be more and more complex. So education, curious. Now we talk about sustainable finance and sustainability and ESG reporting on ESG, which has nothing to do with numbers, but on other things. How are you being a good to the society, and contribution? So as we move forward, things are going to become more complex. We have a person as well who's saying that he knows some of the CFOs of the largest companies, their background is not accounting and finance. And he's given an example is like Apple and everything. And as we move forward, this trend will see more and more. I know auditors whose background is engineering and not accounting because they have different analytical skills. So the advice of everybody here is that be curious, learn, have an open mind, a continuous learning, and be a balanced person. At the end of the day, the panel that hinted, when you're recruiting somebody, we look at character and not only technical expertise anymore. I want to thank everyone for your time. I know you guys are busy. Some of you have big plans for tomorrow. Thank you very much for your contribution. This is recorded, this session. We'll share with all the attendees the recordings. Once again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Bye. Wa alaikum assalam.